What happens when the greatest baseball player on the planet walks into a practice field and the entire world stops to watch? On February 23rd, Shohei Ohtani officially departed the Dodgers' spring training camp in Arizona and joined Samurai Japan for the 2026 World Baseball Classic. And what followed was not just a routine team arrival. It was a statement, a moment that sent shockwaves across the entire baseball world. Because when Ohtani stepped onto that field in front of Team Japan's coaching staff, teammates, and media from across the globe, he did not come quietly. He came throwing 99 miles per hour. This is not just a story about spring training. This is not just a story about the WBC. This is a story about a man who has defied injury, contract pressure, team politics, and every limitation the sport has tried to place on him, and is now standing at the edge of what could be the most dominant season in baseball history. And today we have everything: the open pitching session, the numbers, the reactions, and what it all means for the Dodgers, for Japan, and for the 2026 season. Let's get into it. To understand why Ohtani's arrival with Team Japan matters so much, you first have to understand what he left behind in Arizona. Over the past several weeks at Camelback Ranch, Ohtani has been on an incredibly aggressive preparation schedule. According to multiple sources inside the Dodgers organization, the coaching staff and medical team were initially cautious about the pace at which Ohtani wanted to ramp up his workload. After everything his body has been through, the 2023 Tommy John surgery, the left shoulder injury during the 2024 World Series, and the subsequent procedure that followed, there were quiet conversations behind closed doors about managing his load heading into the WBC. But Ohtani, as he has always done, made the decision simple. He showed up every single day. He pushed. He performed. And by the time February came around, the numbers on the radar gun were doing all the talking for him. On February 21st, Ohtani appeared in an exhibition game against the Angels, his former team, the franchise that drafted him, the organization he outgrew. In 3 plate appearances, he recorded 1 hit and scored 1 run. But those who were watching closely said the at-bats were not about results. They were about timing, feel, and confirming that the swing, the same swing that terrorized the entire American League for years, was back in full form. The next day, February 22nd, he skipped the exhibition game entirely. Not because of injury, not because of rest, but because he had more important work to do. Live pitching, 33 pitches, simulated innings, a fastball that touched 99 miles per hour, 2 hits allowed, 2 strikeouts recorded, and a bullpen session that, according to Dodgers manager Dave Roberts, met every single technical goal the coaching staff had set for this phase of preparation. Roberts was careful not to fixate on velocity numbers in his post-session comments. He stated clearly that the radar gun reading was not the primary focus. What mattered was rhythm, release feel, ball control, the mechanical foundation that a two-way player needs to be sustainable across a full 162-game season. And by every measure, Ohtani delivered. Following that session, outdoor batting practice, 35 swings. For home runs, let that sit for a moment. A man who underwent elbow surgery, returned to the majors without a minor league rehab stint, posted a 2.87 ERA in 14 pitching appearances last season, won 2 games in the postseason with a 4.03 ERA, and signed the largest contract in the history of professional sports, is now hitting 4 home runs in a batting practice session and throwing 99 miles per hour the day before flying to represent his country. This is not a comeback story anymore. This is a coronation. On February 23rd, Ohtani departed Arizona and officially joined the Japanese national team. The arrival was everything you would expect, and more. Media presence was massive. Cameras lined every angle of the facility. Teammates who had waited weeks for this moment gathered to welcome the player who, for most of them, represents the pinnacle of what Japanese baseball has produced for the world stage. But what made this moment truly significant was what happened next. The open pitching practice. According to sources covering Team Japan directly, Ohtani took the mound in a public-facing session that allowed media and onlookers to witness his arm live for the first time in a WBC setting. And the results were nothing short of electrifying. The velocity was there. The command was there. The competitiveness, That look in his eyes that every opposing batter has learned to fear, was absolutely there. Now, there is one important detail that every fan needs to understand heading into the WBC. Due to insurance clauses and contract-related restrictions tied to his record-breaking 10-year, $700 million deal with the Dodgers, Ohtani will not be permitted to pitch competitively during the tournament. He will participate exclusively as a designated hitter for Team Japan. This is not a health decision. It is a contractual one. And while some fans may find it frustrating, because watching Ohtani pitch on the international stage would be one of the most compelling events in modern baseball, the Dodgers are simply not in a position to expose their most valuable asset to pitching-related injury risk in a non-MLB event. But make no mistake, Ohtani's presence in that lineup as a pure hitter is still enough to make Japan the most dangerous offensive team in the tournament. And the open pitching sessions serve a different purpose. They keep his arm sharp, his mechanics consistent, and his preparation on schedule for what everyone is truly waiting for. Opening Day 2026. Let's talk about the bigger picture for a moment, because the WBC is just one chapter in a much larger story. When Ohtani signed with the Dodgers ahead of the 2024 season, the baseball world was divided into two camps. One camp believed that Ohtani, even coming off surgery, would still be a generational hitter capable of carrying a lineup. The other camp quietly wondered whether the pitching side of his game would ever truly return to the elite level he had demonstrated in Anaheim. Last season answered that question definitively. 14 pitching appearances, a 2.87 ERA, performances in the postseason that showed not just physical capability but mental composure under the highest pressure the sport provides. And now, with 99 miles per hour fastballs appearing consistently in spring training, not just once, not as a peak effort, but as a repeatable, workable number, the second camp has gone very quiet. The projection heading into 2026 is staggering. If Ohtani opens the season fully healthy, operating as a true two-way player from day one without pitch count restrictions, the Dodgers do not just become the favorites to win the World Series. They become a historically dangerous team. The kind of team that, on any given night, can hand the ball to a pitcher who is also the best hitter in the lineup, and watch opponents try to prepare for both versions of him simultaneously. No team in baseball history has ever had to game plan for something like this. And as Dodgers general manager Brandon Gomez acknowledged in recent internal discussions, opponents will study every detail, every tendency, every small weakness. The analytical arms race surrounding Ohtani in 2026 will be unlike anything the sport has seen. But here is the thing about Ohtani that analytics cannot fully capture. He adapts. Every time the league has made adjustments, he has made bigger ones. Every time someone has found a crack, he has sealed it and come back stronger. This spring is the latest example of that pattern playing out in real time. Dave Roberts addressed the media following Ohtani's departure to Japan, and his words painted a picture of a coaching staff that is operating with complete confidence in their star player. Roberts confirmed that Ohtani's entire preparation plan for the WBC trip was carefully constructed well in advance and is proceeding exactly on schedule. He stated that the final bullpen sessions before departure went smoothly and achieved all technical goals outlined by the coaching staff. According to Roberts, this phase of preparation, focused on pitching rhythm, release feel, and ball control, was more meaningful than any single velocity reading. He admitted, with a trace of genuine feeling, that there is some regret in temporarily parting with the team's biggest star during this early and important phase of spring training. Ohtani is not simply a performance asset for the Dodgers. He is the gravitational center of the entire organization on the field, in the clubhouse, in the media, and in the marketing identity that the franchise has built around him. Every day he is away, the camp feels slightly different. But Roberts also made something else clear. The plan is working. The body is responding. The arm is alive. And when Ohtani returns from the WBC and walks back into that spring training facility in Arizona, the Dodgers will be welcoming back a player who is not rebuilding. He is arriving. There is a moment in sports that is hard to describe but impossible to miss. It is the moment when everything a player has worked through, the surgeries, the doubts, the negotiations, the pressure, stops being a story of survival and starts being a story of arrival. Shohei Ohtani is in that moment right now. He left Arizona throwing 99 miles per hour. He landed in Japan as the face of a nation's baseball ambitions. He will bat in the WBC as the most dangerous hitter in the tournament. And when he returns to Los Angeles, the 2026 season will begin, and with it, what many believe could be the most complete version of Ohtani the world has ever seen. The Dodgers signed him knowing this day would come. Japan is celebrating knowing this is their moment. And fans across the world are watching, knowing they are witnessing something that does not come around often. A player without a ceiling. A season without limits. A story that is only just beginning. That is the end of the video. If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure you follow the channel, turn on notifications so you never miss an update, and share this video with the biggest baseball fan you know. Because this season, Ohtani is just getting started.